Stand by. Roll sound.
Keep everyone back, please, guys.
Turn over cameras.
Put 22 on it.
Back.
When I take one, I come up with the frame. Pull A camera, pull the frame.
Action.
Pub.
We had a fan base, if you like, who loved the show, and some of the feedback we were getting from them was, please don't spoil it, don't thrash it to within an inch of its life, like a lot of long-running series, especially American series, go. And I think we listened to that a bit, didn't we? You know, we had tremendous support all through the first two series, and we thought, well, maybe to go out on a high is not the worst thing in the world.
We knew we wanted to end it at some point. We knew how it was going to end. It was like a concertina. It was just a question of how long you stretched it out. And I was worried about stretching it out. Once it was a hit, the pressure is then on to maybe make it run for 4 years or 5 years or 6 years. And I was thinking, as wonderful a gift as that is to be given that amount of time to tell a story, can we sustain it for that long?
I think we'd set ourselves quite a big challenge. We'd set up some quite big expectations in series one about how we could, how it would all get tied up.
We talked about the possibility of leaving series 2 on a very big and very dark cliffhanger. I likened it a bit to the three early Star Wars films. The first Star Wars film had a happy ending. The second one, The Empire Strikes Back, had a big, dark, scary cliffhanger, and you knew you had to come back for the third one to see how it was all going to get resolved. And we talked about doing that.
And then we decided, for various reasons, that we should get out while the show's good, and we'd done, 16 episodes. And we had to conclude it. And I think, obviously Matthew and Ashley knew exactly how they were going to end it. But they just, weren't prepared to tell us, obviously, because there was talk of going to the third series. But we just felt another 8 would have just maybe pushed it beyond its extended life.
As writers, we were quite tempted to do a Christmas two-parter, wasn't it? Because we wanted to have
a very
Slade and Morgan Wise.
Yeah.
That was because we were writers.
Yeah. But then, actually, funnily enough, I think it was the BBC actually said to us, are you sure you can't do at the end of series 2 what you're talking about doing in a special sort of two-parter? And suddenly, when we realised that it was actually better maybe to end it at the end of series 2, it gave the series a huge momentum, because suddenly we weren't hurtling towards a cliffhanger, we were hurtling towards the end, and that was very exciting.
It was a very particular kind of series that was driven hugely by one character, and the kind of the world he enters into and his journey, which had to have some kind of conclusion, because he had come into this world and we had to know whether he was going to come out of it.
It's very similar to The Wizard of Oz. And it is that type of story where somebody's disillusioned in their black and white world and nothing's happening and they wish they could be somewhere else, over the rainbow, and they find themselves in this colourful world, and yet it isn't all they expected it to be. And actually, even though it's bright, it's colourful, it's camp, and there's a lot going on, they just want nothing more than to go back home.
Look, we both know I've never belonged here.
I don't know. I thought it was all working out. I felt for the first time like we were all part of a team.
So many directions for him to go in. Does he stay in 2006, but he's wiser? Does he bring Gene Hunt with him back into 2006? There was that idea that maybe somehow he imagines Gene Hunt in 2006, and there's a bit of fun to be had with that. Does he just think his lucky stars he's out of the whole thing? Does he, as one idea mooted was that he sort of goes and somehow finds an aged Annie.
Oh yeah.
But really, these were kind of digressions from the thing we always wanted, which was that he has it's like the Trainspotting: choose life, choose death, choose what you want, and he chooses to go back to that world where he feels more alive than he's ever felt.
I wake up every morning and I tell myself I am alive.
When you can feel, then you're alive. When you don't feel, you're not.
And we secretively had to make a decision, because I said, you know, I kind of need to know where Sam is, because he needs to feel that he doesn't know where he is, and that's okay. But if I don't know where he is and what he's going through, then we could end up being all over the place.
And we didn't know what was going to happen. We didn't know the conclusion to the series. We had ideas and we talked about it. We all had our theories. We all threw in, you know, what about this? You know, everybody threw in their ideas. You know, we should wake up in the good life. You know, in the vegetable patch between Tom and Barbara. Where am I? Oh, Christ, I'm in the good life.
In episode 1 of series 2, we wanted to kind of throw a spanner in the works for the audience, because there would be a notion to say that Sam is definitively in a coma. So we thought we'd seed in these phone calls from Hyde from episode 1, whereby the viewer starts to question, actually, these voices in Sam's head, these phone calls he's been receiving, could well be just his imagination, and it kind of feeds into the notion that Sam is actually mad but existing in 1973. But we want the audience to constantly question that, so we'd only drip feed this information, and then when Morgan appears in episode 7, there's a kind of truth to this, but then by introducing other voices, other coma elements, then Sam again and the audience have to continually question this.
You've lost your memory and replaced it with your undercover identity.
I really like the last episode. It's hugely complicated, and it's like, you know, it's like Lord of the Rings. It's like in an hour, but it's great. It's great. I like it. I like the way it finishes.
I think that was the key to episode 8. You question everything that's happened.